So Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness released to fairly great reception. People were definitely disappointed that they didn't get that multiversal movie that they wanted, especially when it comes to cameos and more multiversal exploration. But to me, I freaking loved the movie. I think it was pretty good for what it did, and even though I know it could have been better, I still enjoyed it. I think Elizabeth Olsen did a fantastic job. She was the MVP in the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch was also amazing. Wong was still good, and America Chavez was introduced. Anyway, there were so many great moments in the movie, and I'm here to give you 10 of them and a couple of bonuses. So without any further delays, let's just jump right into it. Starting off, you have Defender Strange and America Chavez in the opening scene. Even for those who watched the trailer, for us, it was such a crazy opening. We were like, what the hell is going on? And I can imagine for those who never watched trailers for such movies and want to go in blind, they were even more amazed and shocked about the opening of the movie. We first saw our variant Strange, Defender Strange, and this new character, America Chavez, escaping from this monster that we knew nothing about in this strange world, different dimension, and then it was just an amazing scene. And we see this variant Strange just get killed there, and then it just immediately tells fans that like this is going to be a totally different Marvel movie than we've ever seen, and it actually proved itself so. Next, we have Doctor Strange visiting Wanda. I think this was the first time Doctor Strange and Wanda actually had a conversation, interacted with each other since their first debut in the MCU. And Doctor Strange goes to ask Wanda for help in protecting America Chavez, and everything completely turns upside down when we find out that Wanda was the one who sent the monsters after America Chavez. And it was just a scary, crazy scene. We knew from the post-credit scene of WandaVision that she's being corrupted by the dark hole, but here we see it in full form. How it's even worse than we thought, and this is where the conflict between these two and the conflict in the movie starts.
I'm prepared to hand over America Chavez by sundown, peacefully.
And if we don't?
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
And now we have America Chavez and Doctor Strange traveling through the multiverse. I mean, it being Multiverse of Madness, we expected to travel through the multiverse, at least spend some time in some multiversal worlds, different universes. But even though it did not deliver on that front, we only spent time in the Illuminati universe and Sinister Strange's universe. And we expected more. Like, at least we could have explored 4 universes, at least, to make the movie deserve its title. But we still got to see the visualization of how they traveled through the multiverse. We saw different universes. We saw ones that were taken over by the Stark drones, universes filled with only bones, one which they were cartoons, and one of the craziest one, they were paints. I mean, the multiverse is such a crazy concept that anything and everything that you think is possible and not possible is possible. And it was one of those parts of the movie that was just a trippy ride. Coming up, we have Doctor Strange versus Sinister Strange. This was one of the most beautiful fights I've ever seen in the MCU. When I thought of a fight between a variant Strange and our MCU Strange, I never thought that it will involve musical notes. And it was just, weirdly enough, a perfect scene. Like, I don't know what you think, but I think it was a crazy, out of nowhere scene. You knew they were going to fight, and then when it happened, you were like, what the hell is going on? But this is just beautiful to see them use different musical notes to combat each other. Each note, each key is a different weapon, and they try to use it to defend and attack. It was just a weirdly enough good scene, and I didn't expect less from a Doctor Strange fight, and it delivered on some front, and I bet musical fans were geeking out at this scene. Next, we have Wanda possessing variant Wanda. This is one of the scariest and trippiest scenes in the MCU, like no cap. We see variant Wanda finally go through the dark hole, find a way to actually jump into another universe and possess the variant hair in that place. And when that scene begins to unfold, we see how the atmosphere changes. Her variant is in a house with the kids. We see this weird, uncomfortable atmosphere begin to take place. And one particular shot that made me go, holy shit, was when she broke the fourth wall and finally looked at the audience. as if telling us that yes, she sees us. This was just a crazy ride, making us feel uncomfortable. The anxiety it made the fans feel, and just how everything was shot to achieve this was just borderline amazing. Now coming up, we have the end fight scene that is Zombie Strange and America Chavez versus Wanda. In the climax of the movie, Wanda finally gets America Chavez and it seems all is lost and she's about to take her power and kill her in the process. Doctor Strange, with no other option, stuck in the Sinister Strange's universe, has to break the rules to get things done. And that means that the only option is to possess Defender Strange, who was killed in the beginning of the movie. Now, Sam Raimi being the director of this movie, we've seen different horror elements in the movie throughout, but this is, I think, one of the greatest nod to his Evil Dead franchise, and Evil Dead fans and horror fans in general, I bet were losing their minds. We all did. And one of the coolest parts of this is when Doctor Strange uses the dead souls as his cave. Just the cinematography and the music, the score just made every shot better. And even though we didn't get the heavy action we thought we'll get, the sequence was still cool nonetheless. Next up, we have Wanda attacking Camotage. When Wanda told Doctor Strange in their first meeting that
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
the Scarlet Witch really meant her words. She came with full force, the most powerful being in the MCU. At least that's what I think. And just the performance that Elizabeth Olsen gave was just amazing. Like, she keeps topping her performance each time she's on screen. Her first attack on the barrier she went through, it was brutal. People were dying left and right. And then when she finally entered the sanctum, it is where the horror elements shown. You can see that Sam Raimi was just having fun with all these elements that he had. One eerie moment was when she came out of the mirror. The dialogues exchanged afterwards. It was just a great sequence from top to finish with amazing performances from these actors. Coming up is Doctor Strange meeting the Illuminati. It being a multiversal movie, we expected some cameos. And when trailers started popping up and teasing the Illuminati, fans were hooked and beyond excited. Mainly because we're going to see some of our favorite characters and actors that we've seen in other Marvel properties that are not part of the MCU or maybe part of the MCU. And then when it happened, we were just losing our minds. We saw Hayley Atwell reprise a role as Captain Carter from the What If show, and this is our first live action version of her. We saw Lashana Lynch, who was Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, and now she's a variant version of her. We saw Anson Mount reprise his role as Black Bolt, and then we part over to one of the craziest fan theories come to life, and that was John Krasinski playing Mr. Fantastic. And of course, Patrick Stewart came to warm our hearts, Professor X, in his comic accurate X-Men 97, I think, and it became one of the highlights of the movie, even though some fans were disappointed that we didn't get more cameos, which was completely understandable since it is a multiversal movie. But at the same time, you have to notice that this could have been very overwhelming and would have taken away from the very huge and yet still personal story of Wanda. But still, these cameos were very much appreciated, and here's to hoping that our fan favorite John Krasinski becomes our MCU Mr. Fantastic, and also Anson Mount as Black Bolt. They were just perfect for the role. Anyway, it was such a surreal scene and amazing, and I'm glad we all got to experience it. At the next spot, we have Wanda killing the Illuminati. Oh boy, this is one of the craziest moments. People can even say this is the craziest moment in the movie. And I will not doubt that, because god damn it, we were introduced to these powerful figures, these members of the Illuminati who are all powerful in their own right. And then Wanda rolls in on her mission, and just when we thought that the Illuminati could do something to her, because come on, we have the smartest man alive, as they said, Reed Richards. As we found out that this guy isn't smart at all by revealing Black Bolt's power.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
It is then that Wanda showed that she don't come there to play.
What mouth?
And after that, we thought that, oh, maybe Captain Marvel will be able to do something because, I mean, she's very powerful. She just gets crushed by a rock. That's what he talked about before that. Captain Carter, I didn't know what she was thinking. Like, what were you going to do at her? Throw your shield at her? And I'll give her this. I did like the reference to Captain America's famous words.
Haven't you had enough? Oh, I could do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
But at the end of the day, Wanda didn't have all day. I'm just going to stop saying all day. And also before that, we got to find out how to make human spaghetti. And Reed Richards just proved as a very good example. And man, this was a gruesome scene. The person I feel most bad for is Professor X, who's just an old man with an already feeble body, and Wanda just... whew. It was brutal. We got to see the full power of Wanda on display. Like, she took everyone out and audiences were like, what the hell is going on? If the past scenes didn't tell you that Wanda is the most powerful right now in the MCU, then this scene told you and also demonstrated it. Now finally, we have Wanda meeting her variant kids. The main plot of the movie was Wanda trying to find her kids because the Darkhold has corrupted her and made her think that her kids are in trouble, and which is one of the plot holes in the movie. Because if she wanted to find her kids or find other kids in the multiverse, she could find a different universe where Billy and Tommy are orphans and are in an orphanage, or a universe where they have been taken by foster parents and are maltreating them. There's surely a universe there where Wanda and Vision or whoever she had a kid with is dead and Billy and Tommy are alone. But for the sake of the plot, we went with this. And when she finally met her children, which was courtesy of America Chavez actually giving her what she really wanted, and when she met her kids, they were terrified of her. Just a heartbreaking scene, seeing a mother look at her children who see her as a monster. It is then that she finally realizes that this is what she's really become, how far she has really gone.
Please don't hurt us. I would never hurt you. Never. I would never hurt anyone. I'm not a monster.
And it just shows us this vulnerable person who's lost everything. First her parents, her brother, and then Vision, who she loved, which I'm disappointed was not in the movie. He's one of the main parts of Wanda's grief. But anyway, one of the best things about this is that her variant tells her that
No good they'll be loved.
it was one of the most emotional parts of the movie and just broke our hearts when we watched it. Now that's it for the list, but here's a couple of bonuses that also deserve a spot on this list. Starting off, we have the Illuminati flashback scene. One of the best parts of this movie were the cameos that we got, the Illuminati of the multiverse. And it was a surprise that there wasn't any Doctor Strange in this universe. And they basically showed why. How in their universe, they were the ones who fought Thanos instead of the Avengers. And their Doctor Strange had to go to the extreme to help achieve that. And it is where we also saw Black Bolt's power. Of course, we know he's one of the most powerful characters in the comics. And overall, surprisingly, this was a very emotional scene. Next, we have Clea. Charlize Theron made a surprising cameo, and now she debuted in the first movie and going to be part of the MCU going forward. In the comics, I think she's the niece of Dormammu, who we first saw in the first Doctor Strange movie, and also a lover of Doctor Strange in the comics. So since Christine and Doctor Strange are over now, I think they are going to be the new power couple in the MCU. Great casting, and I can't wait to see her in more MCU projects down the line. Not in the least. And here we have Doctor Strange suiting up and his fight alongside Wong with Gargantos. This is one of the coolest suit-up scenes we've seen in an MCU property. Heck, even in a movie in general.
With you.
Then we get down to him and Wong fighting Gargantos. That was a cool sequence showing the popular and famous, as we saw from the earlier scenes, the wedding and all, Doctor Strange doing some superhero stuff. And this is where they also meet America Chavez for the first time. And lastly, we have Doctor Strange's third eye. Wow. Everything was going cool. We thought the movie had ended on a practically good note, even though we know Wanda is not dead. But everything was going good for Doctor Strange. He finally accepted himself, accepted all the broken parts of him, signified by him repairing the watch, and now he's happy walking down the streets, and the unexpected happened. Finally, that's it for the list. The movie was good. It had amazing performances from Elizabeth Olsen, especially. Like, she was the MVP, she killed it. And also the wonderful Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch himself, who also never disappoints. I know there are other moments in the movie which were not on the list, but that does not mean that they were not as important. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this movie. What was your top 10 moments in the movie, and how excited are you for the next Doctor Strange project or the next movie he's going to cameo in or something like that. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any other video. As always, Nerdy Sage here. See you guys in the next one.